with us tonight, former National Security Advisor, Ambassador John Bolton. Good to see you, sir. Am I being too much of an alarmist as we look at this?
Well, I think any time the security of Russia's nuclear stockpile comes into question, it's worth being concerned about. And we don't know so much about what's going on, as you said. We don't know what the long-term implications are. A lot of people have theories about it, but let's be clear, it's mostly speculation. I do think that in the case of Prigozhin, that over the weekend we may have been overstating the threat. Just today and yesterday in the British press, for example, they've revealed that, at least reported, that British intelligence says Prigozhin's got about 8,000 Wagner Group forces in Ukraine and Russia, as distinguished from what Prigozhin has been saying, which is 25,000. That's a pretty big difference when you're talking about an attempted coup d'etat.
Yeah, and it seemed as though at least the initial reports are that the Russian generals did not continue on and start joining Prigozhin over the weekend as he had hoped. I'm thinking, though, about the U.S. response to it. John Kirby today at the White House. Take a look.
As we're speaking here right now, Ukrainian forces are still fighting for their country. They're still trying to claw back captured territory. They're still taking, and they're still inflicting casualties. So whatever occurred in Russia this past weekend did not change those facts. Didn't change the facts for us, didn't change those facts for Ukraine. And they absolutely are not going to change our continued support.
Are we missing an opportunity to do more for Ukraine and somehow exploit when Vladimir Putin, who we've been told for now years is our mortal enemy, is on the ropes?
Well, I hadn't seen that particular clip. I would have said in response to some others I've seen is that it's probably best to say as little as possible and to do whatever it is we can do to help the Ukrainians on the battlefield. In fact, I think the uncertainty, the confusion, the disarray in Russia over the past 48 hours, the possible movement of some Wagner troops out of the combat zone back into Russia itself, the uncertainty for the regular infantry there, provide opportunities for Ukraine. We don't know whether they'll be able to seize them or not, but when your soldiers and their commanders are distracted by this political stuff going on in the rear, it can have an effect on the front line too. So it's possible that that in fact this will change things in Ukraine. That's going to be a big issue, obviously, for the Ukrainians, but I think for Putin as well. If he can forestall further battlefield losses, that might help prop up his popularity.
You've been in the Situation Room on nights like this, on weekends like this, when there's some crisis in a faraway land. Obviously, when it involves Russia and their nuclear stockpile, it's sort of the highest order of crisis. I'm wondering what you thought of the Biden administration's response and if it was consistent with the threat, or if they seem to be just a little too unserious about where this, whatever you want to call it, could have gone.
Well, I would have expected that a lot of it would have gone completely below the public radar. Certainly concern about Russia's nuclear weapons isn't something you describe publicly. But I think also to say that there's a contest for power in Russia, let's leave aside the question whether it was serious or not, leads to the question, well, do you have a preference as between Prigozhin and Putin? My answer to that would be no at the first level. And second, the outcome could be that it would be somebody other than Putin or Prigozhin if things really got serious. And that would cause us to address questions like what happens to the integrity of the Russian Federation itself? Might it break up? Might you have such a weak successor government in Moscow that pieces in Asia start to split off, or that China tries to help them split off? And I don't think we're ready for that. I don't think we've thought it through. I don't think we've debated it as a country. So I think a little prudence here at the beginning, and 48 hours is not a long time, was well advised. If anything, I think I might have said even less today than the president did.
Well, 2/3 of the American people say they've got some serious questions about President Biden's ability and fitness health-wise for office. So it plays into what you've been talking about. Mr. Ambassador, it's always good to see you. Thank you.
Glad to be with you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.